Gerda is a kind and curious girl who spends her days playing in the Ville forecourt and exploring the near timber with her stylish friend Kai. They're thick and partake in a deep bond of fellowship. Gerda's parents are loving and probative, but they're also defensive of their son and advise her to stay down from the edge of the timber, where the Snow Queen is said to live. Gerda does not believe in the Snow Queen's actuality, but she respects her parents' wishes and stays close to the Ville. One day, while playing in the Ville forecourt, Kai and Gerda spot a beautiful, shimmering ice demitasse in the distance. They decide to probe and venture into the timber to find it. As they get near the demitasse, it suddenly transforms into a glass and a figure appears from behind it. It's the Snow Queen, and she casts a spell on Kai, filling his heart with fear and causing him to run down into the timber. Gerda is left alone, devastated, and determined to find Kai and break the spell. She sets out on a trip to find him, but as she travels deeper into the snowy nature, she begins to feel her fears rising. The farther she goes, the further she realizes the troubles that await her, and the lesser her fear becomes. Gerda and Kai were playing in the Ville forecourt when they spot a beautiful, shimmering ice demitasse in the distance. They decide to probe and venture into the timber to find it. As they get near the demitasse, it suddenly transforms into a glass, and a figure appears from behind it. It was the Snow Queen. She was an enigmatic and important conjurer who lived deep in the timber. The townies stressed her, and legends say she could control the hearts and minds of those who stumbled upon her. The Snow Queen, seeing Kai's innocent and pure heart, decides to cast a spell on him. She fills his heart with fear, making him see only the worst in himself and those around him. Kai starts to believe that he's not good at Gerda's fellowship and runs down into the timber. Gerda is left alone, devastated, and determined to find Kai and break the spell. She sets out on a trip to find him. Gerda knows that the Snow Queen is important and dangerous, but her love for Kai and the bond of their fellowship give her the courage to face the unknown and overcome her fear. She believes that together they can master the Snow Queen and break the spell, and therefore begins her trip to the heart of the snowy timber, to save her stylish friend and restore the light in his heart. Gerda sets out on a trip to find Kai and break the spell, determined to save her stylish friend. She packs a bag with some rudiments and sets out on the bottom. The trip is long, and the road is unfaithful. The timber is vast, and the snow is deep. Gerda's courage is put to the test as she faces the unknown. The farther she goes, the further she realizes the troubles that await her, and the lesser her fear becomes. As she travels deeper into the snowy nature, Gerda begins to feel her fears rising. The cold and the darkness of the timber, the howling of the wind, the strange creatures, and the insulation each contribute to her fear. Gerda starts to mistrust her capacities and her confidence wavers. She's alone in the timber, with no bone to turn to, and the study of losing Kai ever is inviting. Gerda starts to suppose of turning back, but also she remembers Kai's face and the bond of their fellowship. She knows she cannot give up on him. She takes a deep breath and reminds herself that she's strong, able, and determined. She tells herself that she'll not let fear master her. Gerda continues on her trip, with a newfound determination to overcome her fear and save her stylish friend. As Gerda travels deeper into the snowy nature, she meets a series of strange and mysterious characters, each of whom helps her to overcome a different fear. These characters aren't only crucial to her hunt to find Kai, but also to her particular growth and trip of tone discovery. First, she meets a wise old owl who teaches her the power of knowledge and wisdom, helping her to overcome her fear of the unknown. The owl shows Gerda that knowledge is power, and with knowledge, she can understand and face any challenge. The owl also teaches Gerda to be more observant and to pay attention to her surroundings, which helps her navigate the timber and find her way to the Snow Queen's castle. Next, she meets a stalwart and strong bear who shows her the courage to face her fears head-on and helps her to overcome her fear of failure. The bear tells Gerda that it's okay to be hysterical, but she shouldn't let her sweat stop her from trying. The bear teaches Gerda that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the capability to face it and overcome it. As she continues on her trip, Gerda comes across a fierce wolf who shows her the significance of tone confidence and tone reliance, helping her to overcome her fear of being alone. The wolf tells Gerda that she's strong and able and that she should trust in herself and her capacities. The wolf also teaches Gerda the significance of being tone reliant, so she can calculate on herself in times of need. Through these hassles with these mysterious characters, Gerda learns that fear is natural and it's okay to have it, but it's important to overcome it. The trip of prostrating her fears is just as important as her trip to find Kai and break the spell. It's only when she overcomes her fears, she will be suitable to help Kai break the spell and overcome his. Gerda's trip through snowy nature is filled with numerous challenges, but one of the biggest fears she faces is the fear of the unknown. As she gambles deeper into the timber, she encounters numerous effects that are new and strange to her, and this fear begins to take hold of her. It's also that she meets a wise old owl. The owl is perched on a branch, observing Gerda as she passes by. Gerda is surprised to see an owl in the middle of the day, and the owl starts to speak to her. The owl tells Gerda that she has been watching her trip, and she can see that Gerda is hysterical about the unknown. The owl tells Gerda that knowledge is power, and with knowledge, she can understand and face any challenge. The owl also starts to give Gerda assignments on the timber, its occupants, and its secrets. Gerda is fascinated by the owl's wisdom and starts to hear attentively. The owl tells her about the different types of trees, creatures, and shops that can be set up in the timber and their uses. The owl also teaches Gerda how to read the signs of the timber, like the tracks of creatures, the direction of the wind, and the position of the stars. Gerda starts to feel more confident and less hysterical as she learns further about the timber. The owl's training helped Gerda overcome her fear of the unknown, and she starts to see the timber in a different light. She starts to appreciate its beauty and prodigies, and she starts to see the possibilities that the timber holds. Gerda is thankful to the owl for her wisdom, and she promises to flash back to her training and uses them on her trip. After Gerda leaves the wise old owl, she continues her trip and ultimately comes across a large and imposing bear. At first, she's spooked, but the bear approaches her calmly, showing her kindness rather than aggression. The bear asks Gerda what brings her to the timber, and Gerda tells the bear about her hunt to find Kai, who was taken by the Snow Queen. The bear also shares his own story of how he crushed his fears, and how he learned to be stalwart and strong. The bear tells Gerda about a time when he was youthful and small, and he used to be hysterical about everything. He was spooked by the dark, loud noises, and indeed his own shadow. One day, he realized that his fears were holding him back from exploring the timber and meeting new musketeers. He decided to face his fears head-on, and sluggishly but surely, he became stalwart and more confident. He learned that it's okay to be hysterical, but it's not okay to let that fear control him. The bear teaches Gerda that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the capability to face it and overcome it. He tells Gerda that she must be a stalwart and face her fears head-on if she wants to succeed in her hunt. Gerda starts to see the bear's point of view and understands that if she lets her fears take control, she may no way find Kai. She learns that it's important to have the courage to face her fears and keep moving forward. With the bear's help, Gerda starts to overcome her fear of failure. She learns that it's okay to make miscalculations and fail, as long as she keeps trying. The bear encourages her to keep going, indeed when the effects get tough, and to no way give up. Gerda starts to see the bear as a tutor and friend, and she's thankful for his advice and guidance. Through her hassle with the stalwart and strong bear, Gerda learns the significance of courage and perseverance. She realizes that she must face her fears head-on if she wants to save Kai, and she starts to see her strengths and capacities. The bear's wisdom helps Gerda become stalwart and more confident, and she's now more set to face the challenges that lie ahead. As Gerda continues her trip to find Kai, she comes across a fierce wolf. At first, she's spooked by the wolf's sharp teeth and menacing scowl, but she soon realizes that the wolf isn't interested in hurting her. The wolf begins to talk to Gerda and tells her that she must learn to calculate herself if she wants to succeed in her hunt. The wolf tells Gerda that she must be tone-confident and not calculate on others to do effect for her. Gerda feels that she has always reckoned on others to help her, and the study of being alone fighting her. The wolf teaches her that being alone isn't a commodity to sweat, but rather an occasion to learn and grow. The wolf tells Gerda that she has all the strength and courage she needs within herself. Gerda is reluctant at first, but the wolf encourages her to try. He tells her to close her eyes and concentrate on her breathing, and fantasize herself achieving her thing. The wolf tells Gerda to trust in herself and her capacities, and to have confidence in her suspicion. As Gerda practices the wolf's training, she begins to feel a newfound sense of tone, confidence. She starts to trust herself and her capacities, and she realizes that she's further able than she had preliminarily allowed. The wolf teaches Gerda that tone reliance isn't about being alone or pushing others down, but about having the confidence and trust in oneself to make the right opinions and to take action when demanded. Through her hassle with the fierce wolf, Gerda learns the significance of tone, confidence, and tone reliance. She realizes that she has the strength and courage within herself to overcome any handicap. She learns that being alone isn't a commodity to sweat, but rather an occasion to learn and grow. The wolf's wisdom helps Gerda to become more tone-reliant and confident, and she's now better equipped to face the challenges that lie ahead. After prostrating several fears on her trip, Gerda eventually reaches the castle of the Snow Queen. She knows that Kai is nearly outside and that she must find him to break the spell that has firmed his heart with fear. As Gerda searches through the icy halls of the castle, she hears Kai's voice calling out to her. But as she approaches him, the Snow Queen appears and tries to stop her. Gerda is alarmed, but she remembers the assignments she has learned from her trip, and she musters up the courage to face her topmost fear. The Snow Queen tries to move Gerda to stay in the castle with her and Kai ever. She tells Gerda that she'll no way be suitable to leave and that she'll be stuck there for all eternity. Gerda starts to feel the fear of losing her stylish friend ever creeping up on her, but she refuses to give in to the Snow Queen's falsehoods. As Gerda approaches Kai, she sees that he's covered in ice and is slightly breathing. She knows that she must break the spell before it's too late. She begins to sing a song that she and Kai used to sing together, and sluggishly but surely, the ice around Kai's heart begins to melt. Gerda keeps singing, indeed, as the Snow Queen tries to stop her. She remembers the assignments she has learned on her trip, the power of knowledge, the courage to face her fears, and the significance of tone, confidence, and tone reliance, and she uses them all to overcome her fear of losing her stylish friend ever. As she sings, the ice around Kai's heart breaks, and he comes back to himself. He recognizes Gerda and tells her how spooked he was, but how her singing has saved him. Together, Gerda and Kai escape the Snow Queen's castle and return home, where they're reunited with their families and musketeers. Through facing her topmost fear, Gerda learns that love and fellowship can conquer indeed the most important magic. She discovers that true courage comes from within and that the topmost armament against fear is a strong and open heart. In the end, Gerda and Kai's fellowship is stronger than ever, and they know that they can face any challenge that comes their way, together. After facing and prostrating her topmost fear, Gerda is eventually suitable to find Kai in the Snow Queen's castle, where he has been trapped by the Wicked Witch. Kai is in a deep sleep, and his heart is firm solid, filled with fear and despair. But Gerda has learned numerous assignments on her trip, and she's no longer the alarmed and uncertain girl she was when she first set out. She knows that she has the strength and courage to face any challenge that comes her way. With the help of her newfound wisdom, Gerda approaches Kai and begins to sing a song that they used to sing together. She sings with all her heart, pouring all her love and stopgap and courage into the air. As she sings, the ice around Kai's heart begins to melt. Sluggishly, he awakens from his sleep, and the fear and despair that had filled his heart begin to dissolve. Gerda keeps singing, indeed, as the Snow Queen appears, trying to stop her. But Gerda is no longer hysterical about the witch. She knows that she has the strength and courage to face her, and she keeps singing with all her heart. Eventually, the ice around Kai's heart breaks fully, and he returns to his normal tone. He recognizes Gerda and tells her how spooked he was, but how her singing has saved him. Together, Gerda and Kai escape the Snow Queen's castle and return home, where they're reunited with their families and musketeers. Gerda has learned that true courage comes from within, and that love and fellowship can conquer indeed the most important magic. With her newfound wisdom, courage, and tone of confidence, Gerda can break the spell and save Kai, returning him to his normal tone. And in doing so, she discovers the power of her own heart and the strength of her love for her friend. Gerda and Kai return home to their small ville, where they're eaten with open arms by their families and musketeers. Gerda is proud of all that she has fulfilled, and she knows that she has come to a stronger and stalwart person because of her trip. As they settle back into their diurnal lives, Gerda and Kai's fellowship becomes indeed stronger than ahead. They've been through so important together, and they know that they can calculate on each other no matter what. Gerda has learned that by facing and prostrating her fears, she can negotiate anything. She no longer fears the unknown or failure or being alone, and she knows that she has the wisdom, courage, and confidence to face any challenge that comes her way. In time, Gerda becomes a leader in her community, using her newfound strengths to help others overcome their fears and achieve their pretensions. She becomes an alleviation to those around her, and her story of courage and determination is passed down from generation to generation. And so, Gerda's trip to find Kai and break the Snow Queen's spell becomes further than just a tale of adventure. It becomes a story of the power of the mortal spirit, and the strength that can be set up within us all.